Gooning, also known as the act of masturbating for prolonged periods of time, often for hours or even days without reaching an orgasm. That is at least what the AI tells me gooning is. Now, AI is wrong, usually. Now, in this case, it's not exactly that wrong. Gooning is sort of that. There is a worse definition of it, or I guess there is a worst act you can describe as gooning, but this is not a video about that. If you've seen any of my other videos, you would know I am a huge Street Fighter fan. I am one of the 3 people in the whole wide world that actually cares about the characters and story of Street Fighter and doesn't just care about the gameplay. And yesterday I was just laying in bed, you know, as usual with my insomnia, not able to sleep whatsoever, and then I thought, what Street Fighter characters are the biggest gooners? So I thought about making a tier list. This tier list you are looking at right now. And you and me are going to go on a journey where I am going to go through each and every single one of the released as of now Street Fighter 6 characters and rank them on the gooning scale. We have 6 tiers. My bad, I don't know how to count. Masturbator is reserved for the most insane masturbators ever known in the world of Street Fighter specifically. These characters are insane on their shit and they are sore every single day. They might even use gadgets and stuff. Now, Gooning Aficionado is reserved for a lower tier of the masturbator. They still jerk it or finger it pretty often, probably like 5 times a week. I mean, shit, maybe daily. But they're not as hardcore as the masturbators. You know, they might not use toys, they might not use external attachments, so they go a tier down. Then there is goons under moral mouth, which is just, you know, what the average person would goon every single year of their life, which, you know, for most people would be like 4 to 5 times a month, maybe even less. Then there is does it every now and then. This is for the characters that are a little bit more reserved, but you know, they still have their urges that need to be met. Some days they're feeling their oats, and these people might goon like 5 times every 4 or 5 months. It's pretty rare for them, maybe even less. Retired Gooner is kind of a special tier. Unlike the rest of these tiers, it's not about frequency, it's about a period in their life. I don't know if many characters are gonna fit in this tier, but this is specifically for the characters that I feel have had a point in their life where their gooning was insane, but as the tier mentions, they are retired now. And then finally, there is never done it / maybe once. I feel like not a lot of characters are going to fit in here, but we'll see. Starting off with the order this tier list has for me, we're going off of Dhalsim. And I am just going to go ahead, I'm going to lay it on you. I'm going to say Dhalsim is a retired gooner. Now here's why. Now Dhalsim is obviously a master of yoga, it's known. You might as well even call him a monk. And for some people who are not well versed in the Street Fighter lore, you might say, oh, he probably is like abstinent, he has never had a sexual experience in his life. But you would be wrong, because Dhalsim is actually married and has a child, which means, and consequentially, adds him into the very small group of Street Fighter characters who are confirmed to have sex. That being said though, we have to look at his abilities. Stretching. He can 100% stretch his cock. Not only that, he can probably... You could do some crazy stances with this. Like, just to imagine Dhalsim in his younger years. Now, it's never been confirmed when he got these stretchy powers. I'm going to assume it was around his teenage years, maybe even earlier. But knowing how the body works and knowing how hormones are, it is not beyond the realm of possibility that this man was stretching his legs and making a pocket pussy out of his own thighs. Now, that visual is horrifying. Nevertheless, I think that is the case. However, I think once he grew more into the style of yoga and he matured as a person, maybe around the time of Street Fighter 2, he probably retired from gooning. But I think it was an insane gooner in his age. He low-key reminds me of that one guy from fucking JJK. Next up is E Honda. Frankly, you know, I think E Honda, I think he does it every now and then. Because here's the thing. I was about to put him in retired gooner. Because, you know, he is pretty old now. He runs his own restaurant. But, dude, you don't get hands like those by just working out. You gotta have a special type of technique when it comes to beating your shit to get palms like those. And especially, like, bro, think about the first time we saw Honda. It was in a fucking bath. This man loves his bath salons, or whatever the fuck you call them. This dude has been gooning. I just doesn't think he does it. I don't think he does it as much as he used to, though. Because right now we're taking into account the current timeline. Like right now, if this was a Street Fighter 2 tier, I'll probably put Dhalsim at Master Baiter. But we are talking in the current timeline of Street Fighter 6. Next up is Dee Jay. I think, you know what? I think Dee Jay is a gooning aficionado. I would go as far as to say Dee Jay might go into Master Baiter tier. But again, I don't think he would go as hardcore into using, like, you know, toys and like messing with butt stuff and doing shit like that. I think he goons quite a bit because he does seem like a laid back, chill guy that does like to pleasure himself. And he 100% uses those, like, I think it's like Fap Hero or whatever the fuck it's called. It's like porn videos, but you have to sync it to the beat. He 100% is like a fan of that if he doesn't make them himself. But yeah, that's all I got on Dee Jay. Manon. I think Manon is probably... I actually think she might goon the normal amount. Because here's the thing, she is a model, so obviously her whole career, a lot of her image has to do with beauty. So I wouldn't put it past her to be, you know, well versed in exploring her own body. That being said, though, she doesn't strike me as particularly crazy about that type of stuff. So I think she goes perfectly on goons the normal amount. I think she might do it like 2 to 3 times a week. Marisa. Now, Marisa is a very particular character because she is shown to be very passionate about the stuff she does. And even further than that, the whole fighting style she has, which is Pancration, or however the fuck you mentioned that, was made to be done nude. So, you know, there could be something to be said about her sexual capabilities and her sexual mindset. However, with what the little material we do have of her, I don't think she is an insane gooner, as some people might propose, just from knowing what her fighting style is. That one extremely suggestive grab aside, I think she might actually be extremely tame. I might say she does it every now and then. You know, I feel like she would do it every now and then. JP is a very funny character for this because he seems so uptight, so fancy, but to a certain degree where you don't even know like what he would be up to in his free time. Anytime we get footage of JP outside of fighting or like organizing a horrible scheme, he's just sitting in his throne, and that makes me think he's low-key an undercover gooning aficionado. I would not put it past this man to put that stick upside down on that chair and sit on it. I genuinely wouldn't put it past him. You know what? Just because of that visual, I just figured it out now. He's going on Master Baiter. You wouldn't think it, but I just know this dude does some crazy things with that fucking staff. He goes crazy with it. And the spikes, oh, you have no idea the shit he be doing with the spikes. Those ghosts help him too. You just know he be doing amnesia, calling up those those bombs going in his butthole, and then he does level 2 to himself. I just know it. He's crazy about that. Anyways, Zangief. I actually think Zangief. I think he's a. No. Actually, no. I think I think he's only done it once or twice. You know why? Because I feel like once he did it, and he realized how weak he felt after, or like he felt like he wasn't at his peak strength, he stopped doing it. So I actually think he doesn't do it. He's just full focused on training. Also, I want to go back on JP real quick. You don't get forearms like those without beating your shit. Just saying. Lily. Now, I'm pretty sure Lily is of age. So there's nothing... She is young. I think she's like 18 or 19. So, you know, something could be said. That being said, though, she is portrayed as extremely innocent. She doesn't seem like the type of person that would do that. Also, she has a spirit that is like watching her at all times, and just thinking about that is hella weird. So I'm going to go ahead and say she's never done it. And I really hope she actually has never done it. Next up, Cammy. Cammy is... it's tough. It's honestly tough. Because for most of her life, right? I don't remember exactly the lore on her early life. Like, I don't know if she was like a normal child or anything. I know she's like... She was brainwashed for most of it. So, while she was brainwashed, she probably didn't. She didn't have any need for it. Obviously her brain wasn't wired like a normal human being, so you would go into never done it. But you know, after breaking free of that brainwashing and getting a semi-normal life like the other dolls, I would say she's done it maybe once. That's why I'm putting her above Lily. I'd say she's probably done it once. She probably didn't know how to do it. Maybe doesn't she doesn't do it that often, so I wouldn't go that crazy on Cammy, because at this point in Street Fighter 6 she hasn't lived a normal life for that long for me to say, oh, she's crazy for it. Rashid is definitely a gooning aficionado. I don't even got it. This man is chronically online. You just know his Twitter bookmarks look crazy. He has some insane tags on his Google shit. Like, I feel like I don't even have to explain it, but you know. If you know how Rashid is, you know this man be doing. I don't think he would be a masturbator. I don't think he, at most he might use his wind. I don't know how he could use his wind for it though, because like that's kind of unintuitive. But still, I would put Rashid at gooning aficionado. Ryu. Oh man, Ryu, I'd say he's, yeah, I'd say he's never done it. Low-key, yeah. I'd say he's never done it. I put him behind Lily because I think Ryu has never had a sexual experience in his life. Since he was born, he has been so, like, steely, so focused on training and just getting stronger. And if it's not that, it's fighting. And also, he stinks like a motherfucker. And no matter how hot he looks, no self-respecting woman would ever, like, actually go that hard for him. Except for Sakura, but that's, like, a whole other thing. But yeah, I would put at never done it. I think Ryu's never done it, and he probably never will. I just think he's not the type of guy to. If anything, he's like, you know those early stories from Moist Critical where he would goon but without touching himself, like he would just watch a video and he would come on command, that kind of thing. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. If not, I probably look like an insane person. But anyways, Aki, dude. No, actually, I would put her above JP, dude. If you know anything about Aki, dude, I don't even want to think about the shit she does with that Fang poster in her room. Bro, she is devoted to that man for reasons I am yet to comprehend. But she is you just know she is freaky as fuck. She uses those claws in a way you don't want to think about, or maybe you do want to think about. Which, if you do, hey, I'm not here to judge, but let's get clean. Come on, man. Ed, I actually think Ed might be. No. He can't be, because when he. I think Ed does it every now and then. Does he do it more than Marisa, though? Does he do it more than Marisa? I think, yeah. I think since he's still young, you know, hormones are still raging. Especially with how impulsive he is. Ed is just a fucking nutcase. He is always going crazy. You know, psycho power probably doesn't help him. I would like to think he snatches his own dick. Like he does psycho snatch. I think that's what it's called. He does like a, it's not snatch, is it, right? Or flicker, whatever the fuck. He does like a flicker on his own dick. That's probably hella funny. He flickers his own balls. But, you know, I don't think he does it an insane amount of time. Like, he doesn't do it that much to where he would go to the normal amount. And he's not that freaky to where he would get to these tiers. So I'd say he stays like right there. Akuma has, I feel like it's kind of similar to Zangief, where he probably only did it once. He's probably only done it once. But actually, I would go as far as to say Akuma's just so hateful and so, like, utterly, like, focused on being a demon, or whatever the fuck he's focused on in Street Fighter 6. Because honestly, if one thing Street Fighter 6 has done is not evolve the story or the characters whatsoever. So I would probably put him behind Ryu. I think there's more of a chance that Ryu does it than Akuma does it. But yeah, I'd say he's probably never done it. He probably thinks holding in his own cum is, like, key to reaching whatever the fuck, like becoming a demon. And Bison, shit. You know, here's the thing though, and this is low-key kind of horrifying to think about, but it just came up to my head. He probably has never gooned himself, but he has had his dolls goon him, which I guess wouldn't technically count as gooning. So I would actually go ahead and say, if we're going with this version of M. Bison, we technically would have to go with never done it, because he basically was born like a few weeks ago. He has barely been alive, at least this version of Bison. But if we're going Bison as a whole, so Bison as a whole, I would go aficionado. He's not that crazy. He probably has the dolls do it for him. But this Bison, since we're being loyal to Street Fighter 6 specifically, I'm going to say he's never done it. And I'm going to put him behind Akuma, because we know for sure. Like, he was just born. There's no shot. Unless he literally got born and he just got to it. He just painted a wall fucking What is cum be pink or purple? I'm not even gonna go into that. Terry, I think Terry is like, he probably like does it every now and then. Honestly, Terry doesn't strike me as like the type of guy to like be a womanizer or be like very obsessed with sex or anything like that. But he, you know, every now and then he goes like, oh yeah, and he does a crack shoot on his shit. So I would say he probably does it Nah, he does it less than Marisa. You know, Marisa sometimes be like that bitch in Dead Rising 3. She be admiring herself in the mirror and just start scooning. So I'm gonna go a little bit behind Marisa. But yeah, Terry does it. Oh yeah, Mai's a gooning aficionado. I'm honestly considering putting her on Masturbator, but I don't think she would get that creative with it. Like, at most, she would just use her fans. But I would say she goons more. Actually, let me reorganize. I think DJ's bottom of this. Yeah, this is perfect. I think Rashid is more chronically aligned, therefore he does goon a lot more. But I think Mai is just so utterly obsessed with Andy. And Andy, like, at least, maybe now they're married, but before getting married, like, for the past few years of her being absolutely obsessed with Andy and him giving her absolutely no attention, you just know she was destroying her shit on the daily, or near daily. Elena. You know, I would say it's kind of odd because she is also a character that is portrayed as very innocent, very not childlike, because she is like a whole ass adult woman. I mean, she's like 7'2" or something, but she is very innocent. She is very caring for other people, and I just don't see her doing it that much. But I also, wait, my bad. I also wouldn't go as far as to say that she's never done it, because she just doesn't strike me as the person to say she's never done it. You know what? I'm actually going to create a new tier for her. And actually, this is a tier for her and another character I'm going to add later. I'm going to say... no, wait, no, why is all caps? Okay. Probably does it every now and then, but is ashamed. I hit a double T. And actually, you know what? I think I think this goes above retired gooner. So yeah, probably does it every now and then, but is ashamed of it. I think that's Elena. She feels bad about doing it, but you know, every few months or so, you get the urges. You know, it's human. It's normal. You're a human. You just have to do it. Sagat. You know, I think back in the Street Fighter 2 days when he was the Muay Thai emperor and he was like feeling his shit. He probably gooned the normal amount. But right now, I think he's retired. He's low-key a retired gooner. I'm putting him behind Dhalsim because I think Dhalsim got up to freakier shit. Sagat was probably just like in love with himself. So yeah. Sea Viper. Another one of the very few characters that are confirmed to have had sex at some point since she has a daughter. You know, she is a single mom who works technically one job, but you could argue there's more jobs than that. I actually say, since... you know, she has confirmed to do that, I'd say she goons the normal amount. I think she's just, you know, the average woman, single mom. You know, she probably misses the affection of being with a partner. I don't know if she's straight or bi. You know, maybe she has been with women. Who knows? But I'd say since she's confirmed to have done it, and she is probably used to having regular sexual activities, I wouldn't put it past her to just goon the normal amount. Maybe like 2 times a week. After work, you know, when she's really worked up, gets a glass of wine, gets freaky on the couch with when her daughter's, like, you know, in her room or in a sleepover. I wouldn't put it past her. Low-key. Alex. I think Alex is low-key. Shit, he's a retired gooner. I think he gooned more than Sagat in his prime, you know, around Third Strike. The thing is, I don't want to go into this because we know what he was gooning to. We know what he was gooning to. Moving on, Luke, masturbator. I think he does it more than JP. And I would go into it, but I am just going to say 2 things. First off, he is a gamer. Maybe not as chronically online as Rashid, but he is confirmed to be a gamer. In fact, he plays the Street Fighter Universe version of Resident Evil, so you just know those characters are over-sexualized as hell. Wouldn't put it past them to have to be part of a subreddit where they upload shit of that. And dude, look at his forearms. You do not get forearms like that by not beating your shit. Luke is a master baiter. Point closed. Ingrid, I'd say she has never done it. but I would actually put it above Akuma. I think there's more of a chance that she might have done it at some point just to try it out, maybe once. You know what? Yeah, I'm actually gonna put it here. I think she's more likely than all of these characters to have done it once, since, you know, she's lived for fucking eons. We don't know how long she's existed for. It stands to reason that she might have gotten curious at some point and tried it. That being said, though, I don't think she would like really love it. I don't think she would be crazy about it. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave her down there. Jamie, I think Jamie's a gooning aficionado, and I'm actually gonna put him above my. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say he's a masturbator, because I don't think Jamie would use different items and utensils to make his pleasure more noticeable. But I 100% think, and I am putting this right here and now, him and Marisa 100% look at themselves in the mirror while gooning. I don't doubt that for a second. They do that. Jamie loves himself too much. I get the feeling that Marisa does too. Chun Li probably does it every now and then, and but is ashamed of it. I actually think she might do it more than Elena. Chun Li is another character. Now, she's not painted as innocent as Elena, which is why I'm putting her above. But she, you know, she has always been painted as a single girl. You know, she only has like an adoptive daughter. She's pretty innocent in her own right. But she is like a 40-year-old woman at this point. She is a woman, and she grew up, you know, a normal life. So she probably met boys in school. You know, she grew up like a normal teenager. And I think, like many of us she explored herself when she was young, and she continues to do it, but not as often, since, you know, she needs to keep a good form and keep her mind clean. But she still does it every now and then, because, you know, the urges come in. The urges come in, and you gotta satisfy it. Guile. I think Guile is another retired gooner. I would say he's the least of these, though. I think he, like, bro, again, going back to the point, you do not get arms like this without jorking it. But Guile is yet again another one of those characters confirmed to have sex, since he has a daughter and a wife. So my guess is that once he became a family man around the time of Street Fighter 2, he probably stopped. But I feel like he was going crazy in that shit back in army training. Like whenever he was younger in those earlier teen years, he was definitely hammering his shit. That's how he got those shoulders. That's how he got those arms. So yeah, I'm putting him at the bottom of retired gooner. Kimberly. I actually think Kimberly, I think she might do it a normal amount, more than Manon, though. I feel like Manon, since she's, you know, like she practices judo, she's obviously a, you know, a street fighter, and she's a model. She 100% is like more busy. She has less time to do it. But I think Kimberly, since, you know, she's more of a teenager, I'm pretty sure she's of age. Like, every character in this game is of age, because people are gooners and Capcom knows it. She is still young, though. Hormones are raging. She has a lot of alone time. As we saw in World Tour, she does most of the shit at night. There's nothing putting it out of the picture that she just might go on a random rooftop and start hammering her shit home. So I'm going to say she does it the normal amount. But I think Sea Viper, since she's more... first off, she's confirmed to have had coitus at some point, and is probably a bit spicier. I would put her above Kimberly. But I still think Kimberly has earned her spot in Goons the normal amount. Juri is a master baiter, and I'm gonna put her above Luke. Juri is almost the same thing as Aki, but instead of, the thing with Aki is that she is, you know what, I'm actually gonna put Aki behind her, because here's the thing, Aki, it's only with Fang, as far as we know. It probably is just Fang. She's just obsessed with that man, and probably has had like 13-hour long goon sessions with that man. But Juri, bro, she is a masochist. You just know she has like those double-headed dildo. Oh my god, I don't even want to think about it, bro. She is a frequent customer of Bad Dragon. I'm just gonna say that. Juri is the Belle Delphine of Street Fighter. She does some crazy shit, and I don't even want to get into it. Ken, I think, is... You know, I was gonna put him on retired gooner, because, again, another character confirmed to have had sex, has a son, has a wife. I actually don't know if they divorced. He was a retired gooner up until he lost everything. When he got framed for the crime and all that, I think since he's alone, you know, he can't see his wife, he probably has had more moments of doing it. That being said, though, I think he feels ashamed about it. I think he might do it more than Elena. I think he does it more than Elena, but he feels bad about it, since, you know, of his whole life situation. Finally, Blanka. And low-key, I think Blanka... This is actually really difficult. I'm going to say he's never done it. I'm going to say he's never done it, low-key. I'm going to say he's never done it. I still think there's more of a chance he might have tried something crazy with a tree stump when he was missing in the woods at some point. I wouldn't put it past him. You know, he has been confirmed to have, like, been in contact with electric eels. That's how he got his powers, or at least I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. That's canon. Who's to say he didn't do some crazy shit with an eel? That being said, though, it's never been confirmed, and frankly, he's just too weird to do that. I don't think he would do that. I think there's more of a chance that all of these characters have done it at least once. But yeah, we have finished the Street Fighter 6 Gooner tier list. Now, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, leave it in the comments. If you have any points to add, leave them in the comments. If you liked this stupid ass ridiculous video and want me to do this but for other Street Fighter games, maybe even other games in general, then just tell me in the comments. I will, because low-key this is fun as fuck to just rant about. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and I hope all of you have an incredible day, night, week, whatever it is. Love you.